एक बार फिर आप सभी का आज के ओरिएंटेशन कार्यक्रम में स्वागत है। और अब हम विधायी और बजटीय प्रक्रिया यानी लेजिस्लेटिव एंड बजटरी प्रोसेस पर सेशन की शुरुआत करने वाले हैं। हम जानते हैं कि जो संसद के सबसे महत्वपूर्ण कार्य हैं उनमें विधायी कार्य यानी देश के शासन के लिए कानून बनाना और वित्तीय कामकाज से जुड़े कार्य सबसे अहम हैं, क्योंकि भारत की संचित निधि से इस निधि पर संसद का ही पूर्ण अधिकार होता है और संसद के बनाए गए विधि के प्रावधानों के अनुसार ही देश की संचित निधि से धन निकाला जा सकता है। सांसदों के सुझाव से ही कई बार नीतियां बनती हैं और कई बार संसद सदस्यों के सुझाव पर ही नीतियों में बदलाव भी होता है। संसद सदस्य विधेयक में चर्चा पर भाग लेते हैं, विधेयक में संशोधन का सुझाव देते हैं। सांसद प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल्स के जरिए सरकार को विधायी परिवर्तन का प्रस्ताव भी दे सकते हैं और ऐसा हमने कई बार देखा है, कई मौकों पर ऐसा देखा है कि प्राइवेट मेंबर विधेयकों के जरिए ही सांसद भी नीतियों में बदलाव कराने में सफल रहे हैं। लेजिस्लेटिव एंड बजटरी प्रोसेस सेशन पर चर्चा के लिए हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं लोकसभा सचिवालय के एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी श्री PC त्रिपाठी जी, साथ ही हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं डायरेक्टर पार्थ गोस्वामी जी और माननीय लोकसभा सदस्य NK प्रेमचंद्रन जी, जिनका लंबा संसदीय अनुभव है। आप 18वीं लोकसभा में 5वीं बार सांसद चुनकर आए हैं। सन 2000 में राज्यसभा के सदस्य के रूप में चुने गए। इसके बाद 2006 में केरल विधानसभा के लिए चुने गए, जहां उन्होंने राज्य सरकार में कैबिनेट मंत्री की भी जिम्मेदारी संभाली है। NK प्रेमचंद्रन जी का संसदीय समितियों के कामकाज में भी काफ़ी लंबा अनुभव है और इसको वो काफ़ी बारीकी से जानते समझते हैं। आप कमिटी ऑन सबऑर्डिनेट लेजिस्लेशन, कंसल्टेटिव कमिटी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स, स्टैंडिंग कमिटी ऑन एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स, जनरल पर्पसेस कमिटी लोकसभा, स्टैंडिंग कमिटी ऑन केमिकल एंड फर्टिलाइजर्स, Consultative Committee, Ministry of Labour and Employment, Joint Committee on Food Management in Parliament House Complex, Standing Committee on Human Resource Development के सदस्य आप रहे हैं। साथ ही लोकसभा के पैनल के चेयरपर्सन्स के मेंबर के तौर पर भी आपका अनुभव हम सभी के लिए काफ़ी अहम है, जिसका लाभ हम सभी को मिल सकता है। श्री NK प्रेमचंद्रन और श्री PC त्रिपाठी, साथ ही मैं डायरेक्टर सर से भी अनुरोध करूंगी कि लेजिस्लेटिव एंड बजटरी प्रोसेस सेशन पर चर्चा की शुरुआत करें। धन्यवाद।
Thank you very much and good evening to all. First of all, I take this opportunity to congratulate all the newly elected members to the 18th Lok Sabha and welcome to this session. Before entering into the topic or the subject matter which is assigned to me and our team is legislative and budgetary process. See, the basic purpose of having this orientation program is how to be an effective parliamentarian in the House. Before coming to the subject matter for discussion, let me share my experience, because the Honorable Speaker, I was also present in the last session. He was very eloquently sharing his experience as the Speaker of the House, as well as the Member of Parliament, and then a very good experience was shared with you. Definitely it was a very, very fruitful session. I would like to share my experience with you. You are all seasoned politicians. You are the members of the Legislative Assembly and so many other elected bodies you have already represented. Though you are new in Parliament, you are having better experienced person than anyone, so need not have much explanation, I hope. My experience to become a good parliamentarian is maximum time of attendance in the House is the best thing by which we can learn a lot. You may not have any business in the House. Your name is not in the zero-hour list, 377, short duration discussion or debate, but even though no business is with you, my humble suggestion to you all, if you want to be a good parliamentarian, maximum attendance in the Parliament is the best way by which we can acconcert with the rules, procedure and we will automatically, we will be getting knowledge. Without our deliberate intent, we will be getting knowledge and we will be empowered and we can become a very good parliamentarian being present in the house. That is the best method by which we can learn a lot. So definitely, and so many other things also, I'm not going to all these aspects. The Honorable Speaker has already stated this. We know we are all proud of being a member of parliament in India because this is the biggest democracy in the world and the best democratic practice is being followed in our country and the largest constitution in the world, and the constitution is also giving much significance to the parliamentary system of democracy. Since it is a parliamentary system of democracy, we represent the will of the people. So the parliament should reflect the will of the people. So we are fortunate to be in parliament that we represent 140 million people and would like to enlighten the cause of the people in the house. Means it is a wonderful achievement for all members of parliament. See, I need not go into the back history and all these things because time is very, very short. We know that parliament is a sanctum sanctorum of democracy, Indian democracy. One of the major functions of the parliament is the legislation. And legislative practice, that is the main function of the parliamentary democracy. Parliament is legislation. How the legislation takes place, all the legislative proposals, if the government wants to bring a legislative proposal, that will be brought in the name of a bill. You see, today also we have discussed about so many bills. And what is a bill means? It is the legislative intent of the government. Suppose if the government is bringing a bill before the house, it is the intent of the government to transact or to legislate. Similarly, private member bill is also there. Private member, as far as a private member is concerned, my personal intent to move a bill to achieve the goal to legislate a matter. So there is government bill and private member bill. Two types, not only two, variety of bills are there, I will come to it afterwards. So before that, how the parliamentary procedure is being governed. Four main aspects have to be kept in your mind. Number one is the Constitution of India. The procedure of the parliament is governed or guided by the Constitution, number one. Number two, the rules of procedure and conduct of business in Lok Sabha. As far as a member of parliament is concerned, this is must in your hand. If you are thorough with the rules and procedure, so many members have complained when we were taking tea in the canteen, in the restaurant. So many members were complaining to the Honorable Speaker that I have given notices for several times for the 0 over 377, unluckily, and by view of, means we didn't get a chance. I am a single member party man. I would like to share my experience. If you are thorough with the rules and procedure of the House, without having the party strength, you can intervene in several occasions if you know the rules and procedure of the House. The rules and procedure is that is the main rules of procedure and conduct of business in Lok Sabha. Is the second document by which the House is being governed. So, for example, raising the point of order, and just now the Honorable Speaker has talked about you how to oppose the introduction of I am a single party member, I won't get the time. Most of the members are asking to me, why you are getting, because 72(2) of the rules of procedure, when a bill is introduced by the government or the minister, any member can oppose the introduction of the bill, for which party strength and party allocation, party's list is not required. As far as the government member is concerned, if you are in the treasury benches, you cannot oppose the bill. That we do agree. And so many other regarding point of orders and submissions, half an hour discussion. Just now somebody was asking a question to the Honorable Speaker. Suppose you are not able to get a chance to ask a supplementary question and satisfactory answer is not given by the concerned minister, definitely you can give a notice in writing for having a half an hour discussion, calling attention motion, and so many other weapons are also there in the rule book by which you can take the cause of the people of your constituency and the issues concerning the country can very well be taken in the house. So many, that for which you have to be well thorough with the rules and procedure. I think this is the best way by which we can intervene in most of the demands and in many means, because by opposing the introduction of the bill, we are saying some other things also. Normally the speaker will restrict, but at the same time we can highlight our causes also. So I'm not going to all those details. So the first one is the Constitution of India. Second one is the rules of procedure and conduct of business in Lok Sabha. And the third one is the directions of the speaker. So many directions were given by the speaker from time to time since long time. All these are codified and it is also published as a book, Directions of the Speaker, that is also with you. So many directions were given by this, that is also applicable in conducting the proceedings of the House. And lastly, the precedents and conventions. The conventions and precedents are equally important to that of the rules. The House is governed by or run by, managed by, guided by the precedents and conventions. So many specific issues, there are no specific rules. But we will depend and rely on the conventions and precedents of the House, and thereby we will bring the issues before the House, and the House will be governed by means of the precedents and conventions. These are the four things. So many other things are also there, but these are the four main things. If Constitution, it is not required, everybody should be thorough with the Constitution, but at least as far as the legislative process and all this, minimum things regarding fundamental rights and minimum knowledge about the Constitution is highly essential for being active in the Parliament, that we can very well learn from our own experience in the Parliament. So these are the four things govern, and I'm directly coming to the topic legislative process. That is Article 107 to 123 of the Constitution deal with legislative process, how the bill or how the legislation, what is the authority, how it is moved in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, money bill, all these things are well illustrated in Article 107 to 123 of the Constitution. And the rules of procedure and conduct of business, it is being made by us, none else other than the House is making the rules. So our predecessors have made the rules, and the rules can be changed by the House. So rules of procedure, and these two things now we have to discuss in the legislative process. See, all legislative processes are brought in the House in the form of a bill. A bill can be considered as a statute in draft, a law. It's a draft law. It is being prepared by the executive. Government bill, it is being prepared by the executive because it is the intent or aim and object of the government to move a particular bill. It will be drafted by the concerned ministry or concerned department will draft the bill, and the bill has to be approved by the cabinet, and then only this can be presented before the House. A bill becomes a law only when both houses of the Parliament pass the bill and it has to be assented by the President of India. Then only that will become a statute or that will become a law. This is the general aspect in respect of a bill and also a statute. And scrupulous scrutiny of the bill is highly essential. We are following the British parliamentary system. We know that scrupulous scrutiny, most of the members will be asking why this clause by clause discussion. Because to my own experience, I want to share even a single comma, a full stop, or a gap that will change the meaning of the bill, the content of the bill. That I have told that because it is very, very important. The scrupulous scrutiny of the bill is highly essential, means this is affecting lakhs and lakhs of people in our country. So definitely we have to be very cautious and care. We have to scrutinize the bill. It is very difficult to scrutinize the bill because of the lack of experience, but we can have so many other means by which we can learn it. So my point is the bill, the first is there are three stages in passing of a bill. First reading, second reading, and third reading. What is the first reading? First reading is introduction of the bill by the concerned member or by the concerned minister. Today morning you have seen that 5 bills were introduced today in the House. What is the procedure to be followed in introducing a bill? Before introducing the bill, 2 days before, the bill has to be compulsorily, mandatorily circulated among the members. That is a condition. Suppose a bill is not circulated for reading or for getting opinion of the member or for reading for the members, then you can very well raise a point of order because the bill is not circulated. But everything the speaker can give exemption, speaker can give consent for passing, even exemption can be given. That is the discretion of the speaker. But normally the bill has to be circulated 2 days before the date of introduction of the bill. And the first reading is the member or the minister who introduced the bill. That is the first reading of the bill. That means first he moves a motion for getting leave of the House to move the bill. That you have already experienced. I move a bill to get the leave of the House to move this bill, introduce the bill. And then normally the speaker will, if every member has the right to oppose the introduction of the bill, the opposing the introduction of the bill is also on 2 aspects. Number 1 is if any material lapses on the bill, definitely you can raise because this is not good, this cannot be introduced. If the legislative competence of the bill is questioned, the speaker can very well give a full-fledged discussion. That has happened in yesterday in respect of Waqf bill. To my experience, I became a member of parliament in the year 1996. From 96 to 2024, to my experience, this is the first time in parliament. In opposing the introduction of the bill, speaker is allowing a full-fledged discussion on the introduction of the bill. It's a good thing that has happened yesterday. So all the views, all the point of views were come in the limelight in the House. People can decide on it. Good debate and discussion took place yesterday on the Waqf bill, and the government has also responded each and every aspect. Let it be decided by the people. So better to have more discussion. So that is the first reading, and Rule 72 gives you a right to oppose the introduction of the bill on 2 grounds. If it is the legislative competence of the bill, then the speaker can, if prima facie the legislative competence means Parliament is not having the authority to legislate a subject which is a state subject. Parliament is not competent to legislate a matter which is against the Constitution because you cannot override the Constitution. If the fundamental rights are violated, then you cannot legislate a bill. That is, legislative competence of the bill can be questioned in the House at the time of introduction of the bill, and after the objection it will be put to vote. Then the House gives leaves or sanction or permit the member or the minister to move the bill, then he will introduce the bill. That is the first part of the bill legislative process. That is what we have called as first reading of the bill. After the first reading, the second stage of the bill. In the second stage of the bill or the second reading of the bill, if any mistake, you please kindly correct me. If the second stage of the bill, there are 2 parts. First one is general discussion of the bill. We will discuss the bill in general. After discussing the bill, that is general principles of the bill, its impact of the bill, all these things we can discuss. That is general discussion on the bill. After general discussion of the bill, there are 4 stages, not 4 stages, 4 things can be done where the bill can be referred to. Before that I want to specifically say one thing. Everything in Parliament, we have to be very careful about it. Anything you want to transact a business in the House, it can be done only through a motion. everything. So if you want to expend something from out of the consolidated fund, we are coming with a motion and it is coming with a statutory sanction is required. See, last time in the budget, we will come in the budget, I will talk about it because 139 lakh crores of rupees were sanctioned by us to the government for appropriation. That was in the appropriation bill we have passed. How many of us know that we have sanctioned, we have granted 139 lakh crores of rupees to the government of India, spending for the financial year 24-25. So most of us are not even cared to see what is happening. Nothing. We are all concerned about the 0 over and 377. I request you, please go into the details, microscopic details of you. It is very interesting. So I am not going out of the subject. So after the general discussion of the bill can be taken for consideration. The second stage of the bill is the bill taken into consideration. The government can very well say, let the bill be taken into consideration. Consideration means bill has to be discussed and it is to be considered. Or the government can say, or the House can say that the bill be referred to a select committee or joint committee. Select committee is the committee which is being formed by the Speaker. It is referred to a select committee or it is referred to a joint parliamentary committee. Today, Waqf bill is referred to, yesterday we have discussed in general, actually yesterday it was discussed at the first reading, second reading, after the reading or before the reading also, it is absolutely the freedom of the Speaker and the House. The bill can be referred to a standing committee, bill can be referred to a select committee, or bill can be referred to a joint parliamentary committee, or you can give a motion that the bill be referred to the public or the bill be sent to bill be circulated to the public for eliciting public opinion. These are the four means. After the discussion or before the discussion, either the bill can be referred to a joint committee, joint parliamentary committee means committee consisting of both members of the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, and a select committee or a standing committee so far not constituted, or otherwise we can say this bill is having serious ramifications concerning the public at large. So let the bill be circulated among the public and elicit opinion from the public. After eliciting opinion, then a bill has to be bill has to be presented for consideration. So the second stage of the bill is the consideration stage, discussion on the general principles of the bill, and it can be sent to the committee and all. Suppose if it is not sent to the committee, for example, today we have passed this aircraft bill, Vayu and bill today we have passed. It has not been referred to the select committee, standing committee or joint parliamentary committee. After the discussion, the next stage will come clause by clause consideration. That is the second stage, the second stage of the second reading. Clause by clause consideration of the bill. After the discussion is over, the Speaker will put clause by clause consideration of the bill. So you have to be very careful that each clause have to be discussed and it has to be voted. That is a very significant clause by clause consideration of the bill. The members have the right to move amendments. When you have to give the amendments have to be given in the prescribed form the day before it is getting passed. Suppose the bill today, YUN bill passed today, you have to give the amendments yesterday before 3 o'clock, you have to present the notice of amendments in the notice office. Then your name will be circulated. Nowadays everything is coming on online, that is why most of the members are not seeing. Now it will come in the online, it will be circulated among all the members, and each amendment will be, that is clause by clause amendments are possible. In clause 1, page number this one, line number this, clause this, I would like to move this amendment. And that amendment will be called in the House. That is why I am saying that members who are not getting, these are all, as far as the government members are, treasury benches are concerned, You cannot move amendments to the bill proposed by the government because it is a government of yours, so you are from the treasury benches. So you cannot move amendment to the bill moved by the government that is against the political ethos or ethics of, definitely it may not be possible. So as far as the opposition is concerned, by moving the amendment, you can tell about so many things in respect to the amendment, and also connected issues can very well be explained in the House. This is the way by which we can actively intervene in the debate, and we can make issues before. So clause by clause discussion. And each clause, what are the amendments, every amendments will be read, that you have already experienced in the House. After clause by clause discussion, the second reading is over, then we will go for the third reading. Third reading is passing of the bill. Passing of the bill means after all the clauses are passed, then the speaker will go for the third reading. It is not read in the House. In Parliament, if the speaker will not say this is the first reading. Second, in legislative assemblies, we are normally saying first reading, second reading, third reading. Here it will not be like that. This is the convention of the Parliament. And third reading is the minister have to move that the bill as amended or the bill will be passed. That is the third reading. There also the members are getting an opportunity. You can give a chit in writing to the speaker that I would like to speak on the third reading of the bill. What is the scope of discussion in third reading means what is the impact of passing this bill? The consequences of passing this bill is very, very dangerous, or so it will be becoming big problem, or it is a good thing. You can have a discussion at the time also. Normally in third reading, rarest of rare cases, discussion will take place, but members are having the right to take part in the discussion. You just give a letter in writing to the Honorable Speaker that I would like to take part in the discussion in the third reading, that before passing the bill, when the minister move that the bill be passed, then you can very well say, but not about the contents of the bill in total, what are the consequences and impact of the bill if it is passed, you can very well say, positively or negatively you can very well say. These are the three stages of bill by which a legislative process is taking place, and in this process, after passing of the bill, definitely this bill has to go to the Council of States or Rajya Sabha. Suppose in Rajya Sabha, the same procedure is being followed in Rajya Sabha also. Suppose in Rajya Sabha, they make some amendments to the bill, and the bill has to be returned to the House of People, Lok Sabha. When it comes to the Lok Sabha, that is the bill passed with amendments. When it comes, the Lok Sabha members have the right to again give amendments to the amendments proposed by Rajya Sabha. In the last Lok Sabha, there were so many instances by which we have moved amendments to the amendments made by the Rajya Sabha also. Then again it goes to the Rajya Sabha. If suppose Lok Sabha makes amendments, again this has to go to the Rajya Sabha. So these are all very interesting procedures. So if it is not amended, the bill passed is absolutely approved, or it is ratified, or it is passed by Rajya Sabha as such, then it will be reported in the House, and Rajya Sabha has passed, the Secretary General will report before the House that the bill passed by and bill transmitted to the Council of States is passed by Rajya Sabha. Then the legislative process on part is over, then it will be sent to the assent of the President. When the President gives the assent, then automatically the bill, and notified in the official gazette, the bill has become an act, or the bill will become a statute. This is a simple procedure. There are a lot of other provisions and intricacies are there. On your questions, I will try my level best to answer to those queries regarding other intricacies in between this. So this is the legislative process by which the legislative intent, the government's intent, and same procedure as far as the private members' bills are concerned. And the time for giving notice of a bill is 30 days. 1 month time is required. If you want to move a private member bill in the next session, you have to draft a private member bill. We are all not experienced in drafting a bill. If you give the content of the bill, what you want to do, what is your intent, give to the Secretariat, Lok Sabha Secretariat, legislative branch, they will help you in drafting the bill. And that bill, 1 month notice is required. Then it will be introduced, the same procedure is to be followed in the case of the government bills, same procedure in the case of the private members bill also. First it will be introduced, then it will be put to load. If the load comes, then it will come for the consideration and passing of the bill. And so many other procedures as in private members bills, we will take it afterwards. So this is the minimum requirements as far as bill is legislative process is concerned. I've already talked about 2 different types of bills. That is also very important. Government bills we have seen and we have experienced. Private member bill also you have seen. And another categories of bill is ordinary bills, and very important thing is money bill. What is a money bill? A money bill can be originated only in the house of people. Not only all money bills can be originated only in the house of people. Because we, the members of parliament belonging to the house of people, is directly accounted to the people through the parliament. Council of States, the members of the Council of States are representing the concerned states. They are indirectly elected from the states legislative assembly. That is why Council of States financial business will be transacted in Lok Sabha. That is the reason by which budget is being presented not in the Rajya Sabha but in Lok Sabha. And all money bills, all financial bills will originate in Lok Sabha. So here what is a money bill? Article 110 1A to G very clearly states about what is a money bill. Money bill means, I will, 1 or 2 clauses I will read. Article 110 1, for the purpose of this chapter, a bill shall be deemed to be a money bill if it contains only provisions dealing with all or any of the following matters, namely the imposition, abolition, remission, alteration or regulation of any tax. Imposition, abolition, remission, alteration or regulation of any tax. If the bill is concerning all these aspects, this is a money bill. The regulation of the borrowing of money or the giving of any guarantee by the government of India, or the amendment of the law with respect to any financial obligations undertaken to be by the government of India. And regarding the custody of the consolidated fund or the contingency fund of India, the payment of monies into or withdrawal of monies from any such fund, from the consolidated fund of India or from the contingency fund of India, if the government wants to appropriate or withdraw any money, that bill has to come into the house. That's a money bill. And declaring of any expenditure to be charged on the consolidated fund of India, that is a money bill. And the receipt of money on account of the consolidated fund of India or the public account. And lastly, any matter incidental to or any of the matters specified in the aforesaid clauses. That means relating money, relating taxation, relating fund, that is a money bill. Article 110, clause 1, subclauses A to G deals with a money bill. And it is the discretion of the Speaker to declare whether it is a money bill or an ordinary bill. Big controversy has come in the 16th Lok Sabha and 17th Lok Sabha, whether it is a money, now a matter is pending before the Supreme Court also, whether it is a money bill or what are the criteria for money bill that has to be adjudicated by the Supreme Court. Last time in the 16th Lok Sabha when Arun Jaitley ji was the finance minister, and the last time also the same issue has arisen. If it is a money bill, it need not be introduced into the Rajya Sabha. It need not be passed by the Rajya Sabha also. Money bill, but it will be transmitted to the Council of State Rajya Sabha, but need not be passed by the Rajya Sabha Council of the States. So when the money bill passed, we have passed the finance bill yesterday, finance bill number 2, 2024, we have passed the 3 days back. There also big debate was there. After passing the bill, it has gone to the Rajya Sabha. Suppose Rajya Sabha is not agreeing to the finance bill or a money bill, or if they are not giving their comments within 14 days of transmitting that bill to the Council of State, that will deem to have been passed. That means the concurrence of the Rajya Sabha is not required for passing a money bill. Money bill, what is a money bill? It is still a controversial issue regarding what are the contents of the money, whether the contents of the bill is money bill or not. The final decision, perhaps it has to come from the Supreme Court, it is pending there. So this is regarding money bill, ordinary bill, government bill and private bill. And the format of a bill, you are very well aware. The first one is the long title of the bill. See, what is long title? These are the long title and short title, everything has to be voted. You have seen within the limited experience. For an act to provide for the protection of rights of transgender persons and their welfare, and for matters connected therewith and incidental thereto. This is the long title. There is an enacting formula. Each and everything has to be voted. The long title has to be voted. Enacting formula, this is the enacting, be it enacted Parliament in the 70th year of the Republic of India. This is the enacting formula. And the short title is, the clause 1 will be the short title. This act may be called the Transgender Person Protection of Rights Act 2019. This is the short title of the bill. So short title, long title, enacting formula, all these have to be voted. This will be voted after entire clauses. All the clauses of the bills are voted. After voting, after passing all the clauses of the bill, finally, short title, long title, enacting formula will be taken for vote. After all these things are voted, then it will go for the third stage that I have called as third reading, passing of the bill.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, 1 minute.
Yeah.
See, our total outlay of the budget is 42.5 lakh crore this financial year. You are saying 129 crores we have approved, 129 lakhs. What is that figure?
I will tell you. I have talked about the appropriation of we have sanctioned 129 lakh crores of rupees by way of an appropriation bill. Out of which 49 lakh crores we are granting. And the rest need not be voted by the Parliament. Because it is charged, because we have took lot of loans from outside, and the first charge, all these matters need not be voted. That will come around 99 lakh. This is from my memory, I am saying 99 lakhs of crores. Total it will come around in order to appropriate the amount, you have to get the sanction from the Parliament. But as far as voting is not required, as far as loans, charging and President's office, so many things, so many exemptions are there for which voting is not required. So we have granted, means we have given permission to the government to spend 129 lakh crores of rupees. That is, you have said 43, not 43, it is 49 lakhs crores this year's total budget outlay. So this is format of the bill also. Then another one is the preamble. See, it is very easy to learn a bill, to study a bill. When you get the copy of the bill, don't go to the contents clause by clause. You won't get anything. First, you go to the statement of objects and reasons. Statement of objects and reasons, if you read, you will, within the common sense, you can very well grasp what is the content of the bill, what is the real things which are envisaged in the bill. It is very easy to understand the contents of the bill. Instead of going clause by clause reading, first you go to the statement of objects and reasons. That is the essential ingredient of a bill. And another essential ingredient is financial memorandum. If the bill is passed, what is the financial commitment of the government, additional financial commitment of the government to be charged on the consolidated fund of India or to be spent from the consolidated fund of India? That is a financial memorandum. And memorandum of delegated legislation. If you see in the bill, There are so many provisions in the bill as prescribed by the central government. Means the norms, guidelines, all these things will be done. The statute will only having a general say, and the rules have to be framed for the implementation. That will be specifically stated in the provision that as prescribed by the central government means the rules will be framed by the central government. So if you want to implement a statute, if you want to implement a law, rules have to be framed. The rule-making authority is with the executive. So the government is also, executive is also having some legislative functions. What is the procedure to be followed for the rule framing of rules? When the statute is passed and assented by the president, it will be officially published in the, it will be published in the official gazette. And after that, the government, if they want to implement it, they have to frame the rules. So the rule-making authority is with the government. And that rules has to be placed before the house. That is the papers to be laid. And the rules, it will come within the purview of papers to be placed. The rules have to be placed before the parliament. And the rules are whether within the ambit of the bill. The rules can never be against the letter and spirit of the bill. If the rule is against the letter and spirit of the bill, there is a committee which is called Subordinate Legislative Committee. Very, very important committee as far as legislation is concerned. The Subordinate Legislative Committee will scrutinize the rules, whether the rules framed is in accordance with the letter and spirit of the original statute which we have passed. Suppose if it is against the letter and spirit of the bill, definitely the parliament can take action or can proceed against the government because it is violating the original act, it is against the original act, that is the rules making power of the government. So the rules has to be placed, after making the rules, the next session, the rules has to be placed before the house. What I am suggesting, I am describing is delegated legislation. What is delegated legislation means? As prescribed by the government means the parliament is delegating our power to the government to legislate this matter. That means the executive is getting an authority. The executive is getting an authority to frame rules. That can be checked, that can be supervised the parliament, that is different aspect. So for which we are delegating our power to the central government or some other agencies as prescribed in the bill. That is delegated legislation. So in order to, if a bill has to be full, then it should have the statement of objection reasons. It should have a financial memorandum if there is any financial implications in the bill, because if any money has to be spent in the implementation of the bill, then financial memorandum should be there. Delegated memorandum on delegated legislation should be there, and also preamble of the bill, which I have said, long title, short title, enacting formula, and clauses. These are the contents of the bill in general. There are a lot of things to say, but the time is very limited.
Sir, is there any time limit for the rules to be made and laid back to the parliament?
Yeah, specific time limit is there. Within 6 months, within 1 year, that will be prescribed most of the time within 6 months, but years after years, most of the times these rules are not being framed. That is why the Subordinate Legislative Committee is formed. The Subordinate Legislative Committee can summon the executive. Even the government secretary can be summoned before the committee and seek explanation why rules are not framed within the time stipulated. What is the reason? They can very well get the permission of the Subordinate Legislative Committee for extending the time for framing the rules.
Sir, we can understand या हिंदी?
Sir, amendment to amendment.
हिंदी में समझ सकते हैं सर?
I will conclude after one more very important thing.
Sir, like JPCC, what happened about the Waqf Amendment Bill. So how many? There is the limitation of time for the GPCC.
JPC, also every committee has a limited, that the speaker will direct. This report has to be submitted within a stipulated time.
It's contained in the motion itself.
In the motion itself, it is there. In the motion, that is this bill is referred to the concerned committee, and the committee has to submit the report within a particular period. That will be there in the original motion. When we are referring the matter to the committee itself, they say that this should be, the report has to be presented, then they will seek extension from the speaker, they will get this extension.
Thank you.
Extension in case,
Extension,
how it has to come from the house.
yeah, it has to come from the house. Extension, the house has to give the
Yeah,
permission.
yeah, thank you.
And in the legislative process, another very important thing, that is Article 123 of the Constitution. You know that the ordinance route of legislation, this is also an area by which the opposition members will be getting ample opportunity to intervene in Parliament without disregard to the strength of the member. That is why I am talking that 123 is the President in case of emergency, in case of exigencies, when the Parliament is not in session. So today the Parliament has adjourned sine die. The Parliament adjourned sine die means the Parliament, this session is over. That means Parliament session is not in existence. In between the two sessions, when the Parliament is not in session, the government is having urgent, immediate need to promulgate a law. But Parliament is not in session. In such extraordinary situations, the government has the right to promulgate an ordinance. Ordinance promulgating authority is the President of India. Under Article 123, the President can promulgate an ordinance. That is what is called the ordinance route of legislation. It is thereby we can very well say that the executive is again, the government system is legislature, executive and judiciary. These three organs are independent and autonomous and supreme in their own spheres. That is a basic character, basic feature of the Indian Constitution is all these three organs are independent, supreme and autonomous in their own spheres, they are supreme. But the President is the part and parcel of the executive. President is the head of the executive. President is having the legislative function to promulgate an ordinance. When an ordinance is promulgated, that ordinance has to be ratified by the Parliament in the immediate session. In there, the members have the right to move a statutory resolution. Statutory resolution means you are giving a resolution against the statute. What is the statute? Against the statute, disapproval resolution. Because it is not correct as far as the government is concerned. In promulgating an ordinance, you can give a statutory resolution. If more than one member has given the statutory resolution, then their names will be put to vote. Suppose your name comes as the first speaker will be the person who gives the statutory resolution. Because the statutory resolution is in this form that we disapprove the ordinance promulgated by the President. That is the disapproval resolution or the statutory resolution to disapprove the ordinance. There you will be getting not less than 15 minutes to speak on the disapproval resolution. Then only the bill will be taken. Most of the time the bill, when an ordinance is promulgated, the government has to replace that ordinance by a bill. Government always comes with the ordinance plus a bill replacing the ordinance. So most of the times the bill and the ordinance will be taken together for discussion. So far no ordinance is promulgated in 18th Lok Sabha, no ordinance is promulgated. Suppose during the intersession period, if the President has promulgated an ordinance, definitely you can give a notice, statutory resolution notice can be given. Procedure we can talk it afterwards. And the statutory resolution notice, if your name comes in the first, you will be getting an opportunity to initiate the discussion. In the 16th Lok Sabha and 17th Lok Sabha, I have made use of this opportunity several times, thereby the leading party, before starting the discussion by the leading party, the member who gives a statutory resolution opposing the promulgation of ordinance will be getting an opportunity to discuss both on the bill and on the ordinance. And both are same. The contents of the bill and contents of the ordinance is one and the same, but the ordinance has to be replaced by a bill, and that will be put to vote, and then the ordinance has to be ratified, then the government will take the bill and the bill has to be passed.
Sir, again it is member of the opposition only.
क्वेश्चन
This
हमारा
is also
Member of the opposition.
Yeah. How can you?
Anything you have for the member on the treasury benches?
No, it is impossible because your government is promulgating an ordinance. How can
Thank
you
you.
start?
सर हम लोग मान लीजिए संसद भवन में पूछते हैं, अपनी आवाज उठाते हैं, उस पर कोई कार्रवाई न हो तो उसके लिए क्या किया जाए?
Okay.
Raising certain point and there is no action on that.
For which so many actions, you can very well move a privilege motion. Suppose you have raised a matter, government has concerned ministry has given an assurance in the parliament. Anyway, that will be replied. Nowadays, you are going for 377 and 0 over. 377, you will get a written reply. 377 submission, you will get a written reply from the concerned minister. But as far as 0 over, it is only for your satisfaction. You have made a presentation before the House. You will be satisfied. Normally, the government has to consider, but most... Nowadays, we are all demanding that the 0 over has to be replied. Nowadays, some of the ministers have started replying to the 0 over. Formerly, in the House itself, concerned minister will respond. Nowadays, the ministers are not responding, but sometimes the concerned minister will respond. Suppose the assurance were not complied, then you can very well move a privilege motion against the concerned measure, and also you can approach the assurance committee on assurance is there. You can file a petition or a complaint before the assurance committee that the assurance given by the concerned minister is not complied so far, so you can move a petition there also. So these are general provision.
और ये सर बताने
Regarding one second. Regarding the, I will conclude.
Let him finish first,
Let me complete.
and then questions.
So regarding the private members bill also, I need not repeat everything. Same procedure. When you draft the bill, there also this statement of objection reasons and the memorandum regarding the delegated legislation, financial memorandum, all these ingredients have to be there in the private members resolution also. This is in sum and short regarding the legislative process. You will go for the budget also. So the second part of my discussion is regarding the budget.
सर
After completing, I think...
हेलो सर, हम लोग मान लीजिए लोकसभा क्षेत्र से, जिस लोकसभा क्षेत्र से चुन के आते हैं, वहाँ उस क्षेत्र में हमारा जो काम होता है, जो हम बात करते हैं डीएम से, एसपी से और अन्य लोगों से जो अधिकारी हैं, अगर वो नहीं सुनते हैं तो इसके लिए हमें लोकसभा में क्या करना पड़ता है?
See,
देखो हंसने की जरूरत नहीं है, हम सब लोग इस बात से पीड़ित है, लेकिन कहने के लिए बहुत बड़ा दम चाहिए. ठीक है, नहीं सुनते अधिकारी, सत्ता पक्ष की तो सुन लेते, विपक्ष वालों की नहीं सुनते, इसलिए उनकी बात सही है, उनको और यही बता सकते हैं, हमें तो बहुत जानकारी नहीं.
बहुत अच्छी बात रखी.
see, if you have submitted a memorandum, आपने एक memorandum दिया, उसको रेस्पेक्ट नहीं किया, आपको इंसल्ट किया तो आपको प्रिविलेज कमेटी को अप्रोच करना. लेकिन नॉट डन, यू कैन नॉट, यू हैव टू complain and the government has to take some action. Parliament has nothing to do that. A memorandum which you have given is not being implemented. The parliament cannot do, but the government can do something, that's all. But you are insulted, you are not respected, then definitely you can approach the parliament through a privilege motion. See, once, 5 minutes I will close this budgetary process also. See, budget, see in the budget also, you all know that everybody is well aware, it is an annual financial statement. Estimate receipts and expenditure of the government of India in respect of each financial year. And presentation of the budget. Formerly, the presentation of the budget was 5 p.m. on the last day of February. But from 2017 onwards, it is changed. It is on the first day of February by 11 a.m. Arun Jaitley ji has changed it in the year 2017. And there was separate budget for the railway. That is taken away. Now the railway budget is also included in the general budget. Now it is a fixed date of presenting the budget. That is the first day of February. Suppose the first day of February is a Saturday or Sunday or a holiday. Then it will be in the next day, immediately after the holiday, the budget will be presented. What is the procedure for the presentation of the budget? The budget purpose has to be circulated when? Only after presentation of the budget, you are entitled to have the budget purpose. As far as the bill is concerned, you are entitled to get the copy of the bill 2 days in advance. But budget purpose, only after the presentation of the budget, you are entitled to have the purpose of the budget. The finance bill is introduced, see, along with it is also confusing. What is a budget? See, in the budget, it is very important, and kindly have a patience to hear it. Most of us is not aware what is a budget. Most of the members have asked to me immediately after the discussion, when a budget is presented, on that day there is no discussion. Because it is considered as a sacred day. On that day there is no discussion. Then first part of the discussion is general discussion on the budget. That is the first part. That is 60, how many members? More than 80 members or 140 members have participated in the discussion on the budget, general discussion. We are not going to pass anything by the general discussion. Then the second stage of the passing of first is discussion on the general principles of the budget, or a general discussion on the budget. The second part of the budget discussion is, now we don't have the parliamentary standing committees. The budget, there is another very important point, is demands for grants. Demands for grants means the government is demanding to the parliament, you please give us 20,000 crores of rupees to our ministry or our department. This is demands for grants. There are more than 100 demands are there. Each ministry and each department is having a head. I don't have the copy. Total 102 demands are there. Each and 102 demands for respective ministries. What is a demand of grant means? The concerned minister or the concerned government is requesting, appealing to us. Appealing to us means to the House of People. Please grant this much of amount. I am demanding this much of amount as grant for the expenditure of the department or the ministry. This is demand for grants. So first discussion on the budget, general discussion on the budget, first part. Second part is immediately now the subject related standing committees will be constituted. What is the department related standing committees will be constituted immediately after this session. The speaker will constitute the department related standing committee. Then this demands has to be discussed by the standing committee, concerned standing committee. This is the second part of discussion. Suppose you belongs to railway committee. The railway budget will be detailed in-depth discussion of the railway demands will be made in the railway department related standing committee. If you are in the home ministry, if you are in the HRD related standing committee, all the demands which come under the Ministry of Human Resources Development or the Ministry of Education will come within the purview of that department related standing committee. So immediately after the general discussion, the House will adjourn. Budget session, there are two parts of budget session. First session is presentation of the budget, general discussion of the budget. House will adjourn, but House will not adjourn sine die. The session will continue. And one more very important point I want to highlight, the department related standing committee is equally important, equal to that of the parliament. When you sit in the parliamentary standing committee, you should keep it in mind you are in the parliament. This is miniature of the parliament. Whatever rights you have in parliament, all rights are available in the department related standing committee also. Don't be shy to ask any questions. In the department related parliament, in the department related standing committees, you have the right to invite, summon the witnesses. Most of the time, the witnesses will be the government secretaries and the concerned officials of the concerned department will be summoned. And they have to make a presentation before the committee. Then you can put questions. If the government is, or the concerned ministry is not properly functioning, you can very well question. There is the power of the members of parliament or the parliament's authority to make the executive accountable to the people through the parliamentary procedure. Because each and every demand cannot be discussed in a 543-member parliament. It is very difficult. That is why the department-related standing committee system started in our parliamentary system. It is in the year 1983. It has started in 1993. First it has started in my state, Kerala. Our former Speaker, Shri K. Radhakrishnan, is also sitting here. Very effectively functioning in the state of Kerala. This parliament, there we are saying it as subject committees. Here it is department-related standing committee. Very powerful committee, but unfortunately, off the record I have to say, most of the times nowadays even we are not getting quorum. We are not taking serious about the department-related standing committee. Suppose if you are interested in environment, climate change, you select the committee of particular committee. If you are interested in external affairs, you select that committee. Home affairs or HR, whatever. So you will be getting lot of knowledge and information from the committee. Make use of the committee. Compulsorily attend the committee, no doubt about it. Please attend the committee. It is equally important to that of the parliament. And you will be getting acquaintance with the government officials also. In your constituency, lot of issues are there. You can very well, not only the demands for grants, you can ask your constituency issues, you can put up so many queries. It is a powerful body by which we can take up our issues before the government officials and the government officials, and you should insist that the concerned government secretary should come. Most of the times nowadays bureaucracy is also taking the committee as granted. Don't allow it. The concerned secretary has to be present because parliament is the supreme. As far as the legislative business, as far as the financial business, we have to keep it in mind that parliament is supreme. We are being elected by 1.5 millions of people to make government, whichever be the government. It is not politics. The government has to be made accountable to the people through the parliamentary procedure. Parliamentary standing committee is also part and parcel of the parliament, so that has to be taken very seriously. So my point is the budget process. So after the presentation of the budget, general discussion on the budget, then the demands, then the House will adjourn, but the House will not adjourn sine die. House will continue, but you have to, the demands will be referred to the standing committee. You will examine all the budget details will be, concerned ministry will be examined by you. 2 or 3 sittings will be there, and you will make a report. And that report will be submitted to the parliament, and that will go to the ministry. This is the second part of the budget discussion. And after that, when the parliament, after the intersession period or after that recess period, again when it is convened, for which separate summons is not required. Budget session, there are 2 parts. First part, general discussion, after that House will adjourn, but House is in session. And during the 2 weeks or 3 weeks period, we will meet the committees, we will discuss the demands, and report will be prepared and report will be submitted to the parliament. Then the next session will start the beginning of the demand discussion. Each and every, now this time we have discussed 5 demands. 5 or 6 demands we have discussed. All the 102 demands cannot be discussed because we won't get the time. The Business Advisory Committee will select which are the topics, which are the demands to be discussed this financial year. This time we have selected
Sir.
5. 1 second.
एक सेकंड ये अकॉर्डिंग टू ये एक सेकंड सर, शांत हो। हाँ हाँ, शांत हो जाओ।
इसलिए बाद में बात करने
ये इसके अकॉर्डिंग हमने अपना टाइम सेट किया था, लोग नहीं बोल पा रहे, हमने मीटिंग्स हमारी भी हैं, हमने सब चीजें वो की, हम आपको छोड़ना नहीं चाहते, हम सीखना चाहते हैं, लेकिन ये ओवर हो गया टाइम सर। और इतना अगर हम स्कूल में पढ़ लेते त्रिपाठी जी की जगह बैठे होते, नहीं पढ़े थे हम सब लोग सर। तो इसलिए सर मेरा अब ऊपर से जाने का समय हो गया, तो आप इजाजत दे दें, आपके सम्मान में नहीं करना चाहते।
But we want to hear, sir. We want to hear. So whoever wants to leave, may leave.
एक बार जो टॉपिक चल रहा है वो
मैं
complete
उनसे
करवा
बात
देते
कर रहा हूँ मैम, आपसे नहीं कर रहा हूँ, और आपसे आर्गुमेंट नहीं करा मैंने।
हैं। Hello, sir.
नहीं, आप उनके सपोर्टर मत बनो। नहीं, बहस मत कीजिए आप।
You, sir, please keep
टॉपिक
it up.
कंप्लीट कर रहे हैं जो चल रहा था।
Chandrasekhar ji, within 9:30 I will conclude. If anybody want any queries after
Yes.
that, okay, 9:30 I will conclude. So I will, with the speed I will tell. What I was suggesting is, the demands will be discussed in the demands will be selected by the Business Advisory Committee, and each demand will be discussed, and each demand will be voted on that day. There, it is not amendments. In demands, you can move the cut motions. Cut motions are also same as that of, because there are three type of cut motions: in principle, in token, and amount has to be deducted. Three types of cut motions are there. You can give cut motions. Cut motions means, what is the importance of cut motion is, I have moved more than 100 cut motions this time. You will say that it will not come on, it will not be discussed in the house, but it has got importance. I will say, suppose I am saying, I have given in railway, I am giving a cut motion that the amount allocated in railway is not sufficient, so the amount has to be reduced by 1 rupee. That is a token. Symbolically, we are giving a cut motion on the following grounds. Number one, Kollam railway station is not developed according to its need. And you can put up your constituency needs. It will not come in the house, but it will be printed and it will be circulated among the members. But it will go to the ministry. Normally, the ministry people will look into it. What are the cut motions? What are the needs? These are the ways by which the constituency needs can be brought to the attention of the executive, government and the minister. These are the needs. These are the ways by which we can highlight our issues. These are all cut motions. Next session, next budget session, you can very well put the cut motion. Maximum number of cut motions in a demand is 10. Maximum 10 cut motions you can give. That means 10 demands you can give. Because this demand is lacking this much, so this has to be done. This has to be done. Form is very easy. You can very well present it. And the cut motions will also be taken for voting. Now the procedure applied in the Lok Sabha is, cut motions will be, normally it will be taken together and will be voted negatively. Then the demands will be granted. The demands will be put to vote, and after passing the demand. After passing 5 or 6 demands, you have heard that the guillotining of demands. Guillotine of demands means, suppose this time we have discussed 4 demands, 98 demands we have not discussed. All the other 98 demands will be put together for voting. That is what is called a guillotine. Guillotine means without discussion, put together, and it will be voted. And after voting, this is the demands, the entire demands of the government, 49 lakhs crores of rupees, that was the demand for grants, voted by this house this time, 49 lakh crores. That is not sufficient. The government cannot spend money out of it. The demands are passed. The government has demanded this much of amount, and the parliament has sanctioned the amount. But if you want to expend or spend the money, then again it can be only through a legislation. Only through a bill, only through a legislation, the government is authorized to appropriate the money, for which the appropriation bill, the ministry has to introduce the appropriation bill to use this amount for this demand, this amount for this demand, and total this much of amount to be voted, this much of amount to be charged, and total 129 lakh crores of rupees may be allowed to appropriate in the concerned appropriate demands. Then after passing this bill, this appropriation bill, then we can say the budget is passed. This is the total procedure of budget passing. And further, there is very important business is a financial bill. Finance bill. What is finance bill? Sorry, not financial bill, and finance bill is different. Finance bill is in order to give effect to the taxation proposals of the government for the ensuing financial year. You see, the government has, the Honorable Finance Ministry has made a speech, nothing is there. There are so many documents annexed to it, demands for grants, explanatory memorandum, and mid-term appraisal of the budget. So many books are there along with the budget speech. Budget speech is only, it is a policy promulgation. But the details are there in the budget. Each and every department is well. In the railway, your overbridge, underpassage, railway station, everything is there in the pink book. You have to look into the pink book is there. You have to see whether it is amount is allocated or not.
Detailed demand for grants.
Detailed demand for grants. That book you have to see. Normally these are being looked after by PA or something, but better personally we learn it so that we can very well direct in all these cases. So the finance bill means the government, finance minister, Madam Finance Ministry has announced so many announcements, the taxation limit and the long-term capital gain tax. If that become operative, then that has to be passed by the parliament through a finance bill. So the taxation proposals or the financial proposals, then only it will come into effect, for which the finance bill is very, very important document. So demands, if you want to grant demands, if you want to spend money, you have to get the tax. Tax, who is determining the tax allocation is also any change in the taxation that has to come by a finance bill. Finance bill has to be passed. It is only the taxation proposals. Then the budget process, budget discussion will complete. Now we have completed the budget discussion. Everything is, now this time we didn't go for the committee. Why? Because the committee was not constituted. This is the process for the budget presentation, discussion and passing. This is sum and substance regarding the legislative process as well as the budgetary process. And thank you very much. Now the House is open for discussion.
Mike.
There is some money allocated for a project, say railways, some project is to be carried out. Money has been already allotted, but to carry out that project, it requires permission from, say, a forest department. That has not been given. Can we still go ahead?
These are all administrative procedures to be followed. This is only government or the parliament is granting the amount. Implementation is with the executive. Some forest clearance is required and environmental clearance is required. These are all the administrative procedure. But the money is there. You can very well ask in the standing committee. All these questions you can put in the standing committee, that this much, when the standing committee is meeting, in your department this much amount was granted. How much you have spent? What is the reason for the non-expenditure? All these things very well you can ask and make accountable.
So why I asked is because suppose finally the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change doesn't give, it is against whatever norms. Is this not waste of money? Halfway through you go through the project?
No, it is waste of money. Only if you spend the money, then it will be a waste of money. Now, you have so many procedures are there, administrative sanction, technical sanction, tender, all these processes, then only the expenditure stage will come. So it will not, money will not never lapse, but if you are not spending, automatically it will go for some other purpose in the next year.
Sir, I had a doubt. After the question hour, all these rules are laid on the table. The papers are laid on the table by various different ministries. So you said that these are rules. Are these rules voted upon?
Rules need not be voted.
They need not be voted.
Need not be voted.
And now when you speak about legislative competency, that if a bill is introduced and if the parliament is not legislatively competent to enact, for the bill to be introduced, say because it violates the fundamental rights or constitution or whatever, even if we do oppose it, if the government has simple majority, they can pass it.
Yes.
And in what cases will a two-third majority be needed where the
That
bill
is-
can be stopped?
That is for the constitutional amendment. So bills relating to constitutional amendments, on major amendments, you require two-third majority of the total number of members present in the House. Be very clear, constitutional amendment, two-third of the total number of members present in the House and more than half of the members of the total strength of the House.
Sir, in your 30 years of Lok Sabha experience, have you seen instances where though the government wants to introduce a bill, because of absent members from their own party, they haven't been able to introduce or pass a bill because the opposition has had more members present?
No, to my experience, there is no, but there is so many other instances by which I can very well, in my own experience, there was a railway bill, the railway compensation bill in the 16th Lok Sabha. I have raised the objection, not at the time of introduction, at the time of consideration of the bill, I put up an issue because there is a provision, that is why the importance of the bill. There is a provision in the bill, those who have fallen down from the train, who were standing on the door side, they are not entitled to compensation. Those who those who are standing on the door side and falls out, then they are not entitled to compensation. In train, only from the door side you will fall outside. That means nobody is entitled to compensation. You cannot fall from the window. It is impossible. So I have took up the issue. It has become a big discussion and the government has withdrawn the bill. Government has withdrawn the bill. That is the impact of discussion in the House. Because government deliberative was not done. Government was also not aware of it. Most of the things, because you know, informally I can very well say, who is actually the lawmaking? The lawmaking is actually being done by the bureaucracy, the executive. They have their own women fancies. That is why we, the people, have elected us to see what the bill drafted by these people. So we have to have a close scrutiny of the bill and whether it is for the good of the people or bad, that we have to. That is why we have this, that is why the British parliamentary system, this clause by clause, first reading, second reading, clause by clause reading and passing, all these procedures are for these things. So there are so many instances by which bills were withdrawn, but at the introduction stage, only because legislative is not competent, I don't have the experience of withdrawing the bill at the time of introduction.
Sir, one last question. When a member asks for division, does the speaker have the discretion to either allow or not allow for division?
No, there is no discretion to the speaker.
Sir, you told, sir.
One second.
Sir, you told.
No, according to my information, according to my knowledge, any member can raise a point of division. Even a single member raises division, the speaker has to allow. According to the secretariat, they are saying by virtue of rule 367, the speaker having the authority to.
If the speaker feels that division is being called unnecessarily.
Unnecessarily? No.
He can go by voice vote also.
So that is a disputed issue, but as per the rules, they are saying that if it is unnecessarily seeking for a division, then the speaker has the discretion to disallow. Yes, it is provided that the speaker may, if he is of the opinion that the division is unnecessarily claimed, ask the member who are for aye and those for no, respectively, to rise in their places, and on a count being taken may declare the determination of the House. In such case, the names of the voters shall not be recorded. Yes, it can be discussed. Is there?
Depends upon what is pleasant to the ears of the speaker.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
But there also counting is required.
Sir.
Eh? Okay.
Sir, you told fund is allocated for particular project for the particular department. If fund is not utilized for the particular project, you just told me that we can divert for another department.
No.
Just you told.
No, I didn't.
Can allocate, you
No,
can
the next.
divert, you, the word you used.
No, sorry. Then I stand corrected. No.
Sir,
Sir, in case of
It
a
will come the
ordinance,
same same ministry.
Suppose
it will-
the fund allocated or the allocation is not spent, the next year, automatically this will, the amount will decrease. You have not spent the money.
particular project, you told particular project not utilized. It will come back to the same ministry. If again they are to utilize for some other project, again,
I'll not wait for the dinner.
they have to get an approval, is it right?
No. When the administrative sanction is given, that is, this is administrative things. The administrative sanction is given, then already the money is with them because administrative sanction is given by the government. Then if the project is not implemented, the government automatically, if the project is not feasible, then the money will go back to the government, no doubt about it.
Sir, in case of a ordinance, you said that we can file a statutory motion that
Resolution.
statutory solution. So when we have to file it? Because ordinance is between the period when the parliament is not in session. So when is the time to file that?
When the house summons is issued,
Okay.
immediately you can give it. Summons, no.
No,
When the
wait.
summons, see,
I got it.
how the house is convened. House is convened by the president, not by the speaker.
Once the summons are issued, then we can file it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There are certain bills before being introduced in the parliament requires consent of the president.
I will. Yeah, yesterday.
Only that's one.
Yeah, that I will say.
Could not.
Day before yesterday, we had a discussion with the Madam Finance Minister. You have heard, you might have heard it. Certain bills in which the taxation proposal or financial
They
proposal
have to
is.
first get the consent
No,
of the
I will
president
tell you
even
the
before
procedure.
being introduced.
Then the presidential recommendation is required for introducing the bill. What is to be done when we give the notice to the parliament? If I give notice to the parliament, then the concerned ministry will send it to the president for recommendation. Only after getting the presidential recommendation, only you are entitled to introduce the bill in the house.
In case of the government,
Yeah,
also,
Tripathi ji.
if the government wants to introduce a bill which has got financial implications, the introduction will have to be first by the consent of the president before even getting introduced in the
Yes,
parliament.
government also same procedure.
And secondly, if the cameras can stop running, there's something I would like to ask you on the basis of ethics. Being a part of the treasury branches, we are not allowed to oppose the bill that comes. Now that bill never gets discussed within the treasury benches, and as a member of parliament, I have a duty towards the constitution. My duty towards the constitution is first, and a number of times this parliament has passed laws which the Supreme Court has found to be unwanted, and there is a great embarrassment. Do you think these ethics should apply?
Oh, the question is very important question you have raised. In British parliamentary,
It's
I will.
basically on the grounds of moral.
Yes.
I'm
No, no,
Premchandran ji.
One second. A very valid question he has put in. In British Parliament, there is open discussion is there. Even the treasury benches, opposition benches, everybody will take part in the discussion and it will be, but as far as we are having the party system of administration, what you say, it is normally, it is not allowed. There is no bar as per the rules and procedures.
Just a suggestion, sir. When you can send grants for discussions in the respected committees, sir, why shouldn't the government be asked that before they introduced a bill to be made a law, why can't it be discussed within that?
You cannot.
And then, I mean,
Yeah,
it's something
no,
like
no.
the seniors like you should be able to put it across.
No, I will say.
We have to follow a disciplined line, in fact.
No. A bill become the property of the house. You have put the question and going back. A bill becomes the property of the house only when the bill is introduced in the house. Before that, the parliament can do nothing. Only after introducing the bill in the house, then it will become the property of the house. If you want to withdraw the bill, then also you have to take the consent of the house. Yes, one more last question.
नहीं, मैंने जो बताया आप ये एक दिन का कोर्स करने से अच्छा है, नहीं तो आप इतना अच्छा बोल रहे हैं, हम लोग को भी जानना चाहते हैं, लेकिन जैसे सब हम मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट है सब लोग, और कैरेक्टर जैसे
भी होना भी चाहिए, इसलिए जो धीरे धीरे सब यहाँ से निकल गए मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगा, इसीलिए मैंने बोला उसको बंद कर दो, दूसरा दिन इसके लिए रखो, इसलिए मेरा रिक्वेस्ट है।
आप सभी का धन्यवाद। थैंक यू सो मच श्री N.K. प्रेमचंद्रन जी।
Because we have fixed the time by 9 o'clock, isn't it? 8:15. So the members may be having previous engagement, that is the reason by which they have left. It's no problem. It's already 9:45.
और अच्छी बात है, थैंक यू सो मच श्री N.K. प्रेमचंद्रन जी फॉर योर वैल्यूएबल इनसाइट्स। PC त्रिपाठी जी आपका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। पार्थ गोस्वामी जी आपका भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। और ये अच्छी बात है कि कल हमारे पास अलग अलग सत्र हैं और कल हमारे पास पूरा दिन होगा जब सदस्य अपने अपने सवाल पूछ सकते हैं। और इसी के साथ जो ओरिएंटेशन प्रोग्राम है उसके आज के सत्र का यही समापन हो रहा है। कल सुबह 11 बजे हम फिर से कार्यक्रम के अलग अलग सत्रों में मिलेंगे और आप सभी से अनुरोध है कि 10:45 तक आप अपना अपना स्थान कल ग्रहण कर ले। आप सभी से अनुरोध है और धन्यवाद आप सभी का अपना कीमती समय निकालने के लिए। और आप सभी से ये भी अनुरोध है कि डिनर रात्रि भोज के लिए बैंक्वेट हॉल में आप सभी मिलें। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सभी का।